Samba, soccer, and parties. Why Brazil has better organics. Preparing for a recent talk to a group of Brazilian food distributors, I immersed myself in research about the food industry in that country. And was fascinated to learn how their natural and organic food system differs from, and, in some ways, outshines ours. To appreciate the differences, it's helpful to establish some context. The two countries are just about the same geographical size, though at 317 million, the U.S. population is 58% larger. And while Brazil's per capita GDP, $13,027, still lags well behind the U.S.'s, $53,328, a huge surge in the Brazilian middle class in recent years has catapulted that country to the world's sixth or seventh largest economy. There is, understandably, a rather self-centered tendency in the U.S. to leave Brazil out of the conversation of the world's progressive countries and to think of it as a developing nation, albeit one that is doing so while smiling, dancing the samba, and playing futevolei, soccer volleyball, on Copacabana Beach. Yet when it comes to the natural and organic food movement, it is sometimes the Brazilians who have the upper foot. Brazil's organic empire. The organic industry in Brazil is about $350 million, only a fraction the size of the U.S. market, though growing at an impressive 20 to 30% annually. But because the industry is young and has been able to learn from the rest of the world, some of their systems are highly evolved. Brazilian law, for example, prohibits use of the words natural or pure to describe food, because, in part, they have seen how such ambiguities have created confusion in other markets. Winning the label battle. Indeed, food labels are in many ways very progressive in Brazil. By law, they contain a T logo, for transgenic, when a product contains more than 1% GMOs, whereas we in the U.S. continue to dither over GMO labeling laws, and in the meantime pump out thousands of products made with genetically modified ingredients but not so indicated. Similarly, Brazilian foods that contain glutens bear the message "contém gluten," contains gluten, while we only recently came to an agreement about what gluten-free means so that we can signify those products that lack gluten. If you were starting a food labeling system from scratch, you might start by taking a stroll down the aisles of a Pão de Açúcar supermarket in Rio. Yes, Brazil's has its own Whole Foods, too. Brazil has its own version of Whole Foods, a retailer called Mundo Verde, Green World. It was founded in 1987, 7 years after Whole Foods, and has more than 300 locations that sell everything from locally grown organic produce to natural cosmetics and conscious gifts. There are lectures on nutrition and health, in-store and scents and music, train nutritionists, a weekly email newsletter, and more than 500,000 fans on Facebook. Sound familiar? Brazil also has numerous companies that are providing online sales and home delivery of natural foods. This is a trend that is only now re-emerging on a serious scale in the U.S., after the trail of wreckage that began in the late 90s with Webvan. But in Brazil, a slew of companies, like Vita Saudável Orgânicos, Horta de Vovo, Saber Natural, Ecobio and Organica, are doing well. Fortunately, the spirit of common goals and shared destiny continues to permeate the natural and organic food industry, and doesn't stop at the border. So perhaps we shall see increased cooperation between these two giants of the Americas in the months and years to come.